and many more, but only at Woolworths.
Welcome back to our 2002 Grand Final coverage at the half-time break in the First Division decider. The Bulldogs and St George Illawarra. It's locked at 6-all. A try apiece. Thurston 1 from 1 in the goals and Christensen 1 from 2. 6-all half-time. Now, during the NRL season, the fans have had their chance to participate in the Kellogg's Catch and Win competition. The two top contestants have made it through to today's Grand Final face-off. They're waiting there in the firing zone with our own Paul Harrigan. Paul?
Let's go now, David. I think you're up first. Good luck, mate. Come on, Julie, with me. As you see up there, Mark Spud Carroll's got the balls in his hand. It's pretty windy here too, I've got to say. The conditions are very swirling. So it'll be a good test there for David first up. Here we go. Well done. Give him a cheer for that. He's had to run 10, 12 metres to get that one. How's the confidence now? He's eaten that one. All right, Julie. A couple of big, deep breaths. Let it go, Spud. Oh.
To Cape York. Please, stay between the flags.
Welcome back to Telstra Stadium, Grand Final Day 2002. Looking off to the north here at this Olympic complex. A 6-all scoreline in First Division. Two teams that averaged over 30 points a game during the rounds this year. So perhaps this match will open right up in the second 40 minutes. But Gus, it was tense. It wasn't necessarily perfect football in the first 40 minutes, but the Dragons, you would have to say, finished the better going to half-time.
Yeah, they certainly did, Boss. He started to get a little bit more ball in the back end of that first half. That was able to wear the Bulldogs down. They were able to level the score with a good try out on the left-hand side of the field. And there was a lot of doubt about the Bulldogs' first try, so I don't think the Dragons will be too disappointed. 6-all on the scoreboard, very tight, and the match stats show exactly that. We can see down the bottom here, 49% of the ball there, 51. There's nothing in that match stat figure up there. One line break each up the top there. 141 tackles as against 117. That was extra bit of possession I said about in the first half. And only 7 missed tackles there from the Bulldogs. Exceptionally good. Close game, close stats, all to be decided.
Yeah, Stephen Hughes, a little bit of repair work, bit of patchwork done to a cut above the left eye. Leads his team out for the second half. And we're just a little over 2 hours away from kick-off to first grade, the Warriors and the Roosters. For Stephen Hughes, there is 40 minutes of very important football for him. It got a little fiery in that first half, and I'm sure that was mentioned by both coaches, Mick Potter of the Dragons, Kevin Moore of the Bulldogs at half-time. Just play football, fellas. You don't want to be costing your team 2 points at some time in this second half. That could be the 2 points that decides the contest. The likes of Glenn Hall got locked into battles many times in the first half. Dennis Scott was the recipient of some big tackles. The front rows have been very good for the Dragons. Their starting props, Ross and Stapleton, followed up by Felsch and Donnelly.
I tend to agree with you a little bit, Vossi. I've watched both these teams a fair bit during the season, and they have got a lot of points in them. I would say that both teams are playing a little unnaturally. Maybe the nerves of grand final or the pressure has just got them playing a little conservative. It could well break out into their second half into a really entertaining contest. That's a bit of an anticlimactic way to start. The ball rolled off the mound.
Just pick it, Damien, when you're right, mate.
It's the job of Damien Bauer to get us back underway. He's the Dragons captain. They won the First Division Grand Final last year. The Bulldogs were the champions the previous season. And Hall is the player who takes the first hit up of the second half. But he is a goer. Conceded a few penalties in that first half, but I don't think you can criticise the effort he put into the performance. And this is the centre, Harris. He's a big, strong boy. He's played a bit of the back row too in First Division. But he does look a player very likely to succeed in first grade. He played 4 matches this year. And the Dogs are 5 metres inside their own half. Brideson back right with Oliver, who had his moments in that first half. His first kick of the second half is a good one. Simmons is back to the in goal. He picks up the football this time. That wasn't the case at one of the kicks in the first half. And away goes Simmons. This is a good test for a bloke who's had a broken leg and tackled short of the 40-metre line. That's a great return. So a good start to the second half for the Dragons. On their 40-metre line. And Bauer retains the job of dummy half, and Ellis is the man who gets them to halfway. Bauer, a former Eagle, and trying to attack the mark of the Harris. That pass was intended for Ellis, and Ellis is able to make the most of it. Makes another 10 metres. So already some signs that this match will open up in the second half. Bauer passes wide here for Kerr. And an arm was hung out by Harris in defence. This is the last tackle. Bauer with it. 22 away from the line. The kick comes from young Russell. It is high and across field. Not played at by Emelio. Kept alive by the Dragons. It'll be fielded here by Thurston. All the confidence in the world. One-handed. 5 metres out from his own line.
Oh, how casual is that? It's only a grand final. You've only got 3 or 4 defenders bearing down on you. Little grubber kick in behind the line and very nonchalant. Just a one-hand little grab there. Step around him as you're catching the ball. That's talent.
David Peachy about the pickup.
Looks very natural, Jonathan Thurston, doesn't he? In everything he does, you say it was a one-handed pickup, but just does it so easily. The game comes naturally to him, and someone we'll see a lot more of in the future, I'm sure.
First penalty of the second half.
There's your mark.
In the way of the Bulldogs, gives us a chance to head to Mark Coyne on the sideline. What did you learn at half-time there, Mark, in the rooms?
Yeah, from the Dragon shed, Mick Potter was keen to have better support and short passes on the fringes of the rucks. And from the Bulldogs, Keiran wants the possession to be valued, so no silly errors, and actually use the win and get that kick downfield.
Bulldogs using defence there from Kent. Number 1 on his back, but playing in the setters.
Interesting point Mark Coyne makes there about the wind. I was down there during the Jersey flag contest. And there is a stiff breeze blowing behind the Bulldogs in their second half towards the southeast corner. I guess both first-grade coaches will be keeping an eye on that breeze as to what they may do if they win the toss in a couple of hours' time. That big first-grade clash coming up later tonight.
That is very heavy on Barry there, the fullback chiming in. Kativerata was up. He looks a real athlete-wise, Kativerata, and there he is again in defence. Harris. And that is 35 metres away from the Dragons line. Last tackle, Thurston runs it. Howland, quick hands. Juggled by Hughes and then upended. Play on with a front row of Sologinkin. He's unable to handle, and the Dragons come up with a ball. If you are just joining the coverage, the Roosters a boil over in Jersey Flegg, the under-20s. A 1-point win, a field goal to their halfback, Joe Williams, late in the game to defeat the minor premiers, the raging hot favourites, the Dragons. Gus was mildly happy, I can report, with that result.
You beauty.
Ellis runs the ball back to within a metre of halfway. And now the front rower Donnelly. Bruising run and offloads at the finish for Kerr. They are 30 away, but the Dragons with the ball in this second half, real confidence about them. A real contrast to the way they started the game. This kick isn't too bad. Leicester goes back for it. Pressure. Pass for Barry away from the in goal. Nathan Barry has lost the ball. Play on for the Dragons. It'll come for Chris Nero. That is a try for St George Illawarra. They almost butchered it, but it will be awarded to Chris Nero. It is 10-6.
Well, this is unfortunate for the Bulldogs after a good passage of play. A bomb that's put up before the 5th tackle by the Dragons, well caught by Leicester. He's in the in goal, so he gets it back to Barry, who runs it out. Now he's hitting a good low tackle. Sorry, missed. He's hitting a good tackle there by the earlier try scorer, McBride. That dislodges the ball. The big front rower couldn't get down to pick it up, but underneath it all, Chris Nero has been able to come up with the grab.
Gus, we talked a number of times in the first half about just building the pressure, and that was what the Dragons did with that kick. It was perfectly placed. Leicester was forced to play at it. He did well when he got the ball away. The fullback headed across field. Barry, in the end, as you said, just spilled it. Dropped it before he was taken in that tackle. There was a little bit of work to be done. The grubber kick through here, was looking to fall on it, and then in he came Nero, and that's a try.
Luke. Big Benny Ross there. He's about as gentle as an elephant trying to feather that ball into the in goal and fall on it. Sorry, Luke Felsch.
So Christensen with a kick, and he bangs it over again. He's kicked 2 from 3. Here in the First Division Grand Final, we will break at 12 points to 6.
Cheers, mate.
Jeez, I wouldn't camp there if I were you.
There's drop bears.
Drop bears?
They're like a bigger, meaner sort of koala bear.
Then they drop from the tree.
Yeah.
And then grab your head by...
Yeah.
Classic.
So the story of the match up to now, the Bulldogs got a very controversial try after 3 minutes. The Dragons hit back in the 33rd minute to Gary McBride, and then just moments ago a second try to their centre Chris Nero, and now they find themselves in front by 6, and they're starting to play some good football. And that started well before half-time. Slow out of the blocks, but right in the struggle now. Russell's kick, fielded by Nathan Barry, who will be hurting right at the moment, and hurting even more after that tackle from Bauer. And McBride up there as well on the fullback.
Interesting to see the attitude from the Bulldogs here. Now, normally, particularly at the NRL level, the Bulldogs control the trend of the game. If they're in front or the scores are close, they keep the game down very tight. But all of a sudden, if they get behind on the scoreboard, they'll open up. And there'll be a flurry of passes, the ball will move around, and this game could well explode here in the next 10 minutes.
Maitua hurt, not for the first time in the game. He's down again. And he's just able to play that ball. Oliver. His little stepping number 7. He's got Thurston there. And Thurston is away for the try. For 7 and 6 combined for 4 points that will become 6. And it will be 12 all. Beautiful league from a scheming halfback.
Yeah, nice work here by Brett Oliver. And Thurston. Lined out deep to the right. As we freeze it there. This is Oliver with the ball. Thurston's back here, and what Oliver's going to do is take them on, get him behind the line, and Thurston will back up to score the try. As play continues, the St George line raced up quickly, a good right foot step there from Oliver, draws the fullback Simmons, gets it onto Thurston. He knew what the halfback would do. That's knowing your teammate, knowing what he would do if he was put under pressure by the defence. They raced up, he knew he'd take them on, and he supported behind the line for the try.
He was forced to run himself. The Dragons' defence got what they wanted. They wanted him to run and not get the ball to Thurston on the outside. He did that. A great right foot step, picked up his 5'8" partner. Very good try. And this game really could liven up, as you said, Gus.
Brett Oliver, the player who set up the try, only 19 years of age, and I mentioned earlier played for the New South Wales under-19s this year, was in the under-17s last year. He's taken all the steps through a junior representative career. Won a title with the Jersey flank side at the Bulldogs last year, and now the try scorer Thurston, his partner in crime to convert, and that 12-all scoreline. It is on the board. It is game on, the First Division Grand Final. We've got 30 remaining. Mark Coyne sideline.
Yeah, just an interesting point on replacements, Andrew. The Dogs have used 6 so far, where the Dragons have only had 3 replacements. So Mick Potter very keen to keep plenty of reserve against this wind for the back end of the match.
Off the bench. It's very tense at his grand final day. It is all or nothing. And the Dragons, it is very deliberate, the process, the setup of Damien Bauer, even for a restart. He counts, he steps back, he steadies as if he's kicking for a definite target where he wants the ball to land. And the Bulldogs on the return. Sologinkin, heavy work.
He did some good work in first grade earlier this year, Bauer, when Trent Barrett was on state of origin duty and out injured with a calf muscle, and he showed some nice touches today here in Keiran Kerr. It's obviously that the halves in these two teams dictate a lot of the action.
One on debut against the Tigers way back in round 10, Damien Bauer. As the Dogs work forward with Harris. And even the intensity of the defence has really picked up in this second half on some one-on-one shots. And there you have it again, moving up on Daniel Harvey. So maybe looking for a little more hurt in the tackles. They've lost a little bit of the effectiveness. And this kick has got Kativerata going back to the 10. It bounces away from him. Now he's got it. And a line of Bulldogs defenders there. There were 7 side by side, and Kativerata just took the tackle. Simmons. 25 away from his own line. Dragons slow play the ball there in the Scott tackle. Scott got up swinging. There's now McBride, the first try scorer for the Dragons. The Roosters have arrived safely. That's good news. Just soaking in some of the atmosphere on the sideline. Damien Bauer stripped there by Jonathan Thurston. Starting to put a stamp on this game. And it is with Barry. He was contained on halfway. When they played in round 14, these two clubs, the Dragons emerged winners 27-18. Way back then, that was only the second time the Bulldogs had been beaten all year. And now Oliver, they go left. In fact, both teams up to this point have lost only half a dozen games this year. The Bulldogs with it, 30 away. Oliver for Thurston. Turns the ball back inside for Barry that time, and Ellis there in defence again. His technique on show yet again. Bulldogs with Oliver. Along for Thurston. Cut out ball for Hughes. Here's the chance. Howland on his outside. What a ball from Hughes. And back for Thurston. That is magical. You will not see better than that. On grand final day, to produce a play like that, you will talk about it for a long time.
Oh, there's a couple of magic passes in this movement. We'll try and pick them up for you. Instigated by Thurston. It was the 5th tackle. The ball will come wide as we freeze it there. Here's Thurston. There are plenty of players here on the outside. This is Hughes with support on the outside from Howland, and he will get the ball on the outside to create space down here. As play continues, we will see that Hughes will get the ball, race in field, and as we freeze it there, you can see that Hughes, this man, has attracted 2 defenders, one from the back and one forward, leaving Howland with a free run down the outside. Play continues, magic ball over the top. Thurston, who started the movement, backs up on the inside. Great Bulldogs try.
Well, all the good players are good support players as well as they are creating it. Thurston started it with the beautiful ball. The Dragons have been defending well. When you think about it, besides that defensive lapse only a few moments ago, they'd only conceded 1 try, which was a knock-on anyway, so they'd been doing well, but some great play to score a beautiful try. Very hard to defend that sort of footy.
It's the sort of player, Stephen Hughes, over the years that doesn't die wondering, and he doesn't die with the football all that often. He was able to attract those 2 players, one from the back and one from the front, and they believed that they could shut the ball down, but he lifted his arm up, topped it down over the top, and Howland and Thurston were able to finish it off. And all of a sudden, after the Dragons got to the front 12-6 for the first time in the game, the Bulldogs have gone crash bang, and now Thurston's looking for the wallop.
This from the sideline, from 23 metres out, and it is on its way from Thurston. It is over. He is having a golden 5 minutes, Jonathan Thurston. It is 18-12 to the Bulldogs. We'll take a break.
The new Commodore. It's like corners were made for it.
An 18-12 scoreline. It was just 6-all at half-time. And how things have turned in the last 14 minutes of this match. And 3 tries. And Oliver, both teams full of running. Just thinking of the Hughes pass, your biggest rap you could give it was Gidley, Lauatiti and Solomona rolled into one. And they have another one up his sleeve at some point. They're working towards his side. Here he is, Hughes. Kativerata came up, unmarked Howland on the outside. That was a key tackle there from Kativerata. Thurston's in control here, time to kick. That's not a great sign for the Dragons. There was no pressure. And the bounce up here for Christensen to return the ball.
Held there,
Not
off
too
John.
many touches of the football, the right winger. And now Simmons. And this time some jarring defence from Sologinkin first in. Leading tackler from that first half was Dennis Scott for the Bulldogs. At half-time his stats were 23 tackles and 11 hit-ups. He has worked very hard and he is playing for a contract. Kerr, inside pass not handled there by McBride. Morrin comes up with it for the Bulldogs. And he was dispossessed of the football by Simmons. It was a close call on the two and the tackle.
Certainly was a fine line. Ball was knocked down here. Now, the advantage has clearly been played there. So if Simmons gets away with this steal, he'd only just got a hand on him, Stapleton. Simmons had the ball and he thought he was entitled to go the other way.
A real burst of energy for the Bulldogs in this period of play. They've been rewarded with 2 tries. And they may be getting closer to another one. They're only 20 away. Morrin taken low in the tackle there of the centre Nero. And 19 from the line. They work left. It is Sologinkin, the ball player at first receiver for Barry, to be tackled 15 metres out. There's players in motion. There's a lot of movement there for the Bulldogs now. Decoy runners. They're playing like at no other point of this match so far. They are really into this match now. Oliver, long pass for Thurston. Keeps it going for Hughes. He's got through the tackle. He was looking to flick out the back for Howland. And it was a good decision to hold on to the ball. Howland ended up over the sideline. Hall for Thurston. Kicks back for Howland to come through. He was shouldered out of the way by Nero. And Archer has seen that and will penalise the Dragons.
He ran it straight across. Yeah. He ran straight across. No way. No way. He goes straight across and takes him out. No, Damien, get back. I've made my decision. No way.
Well, Damien, I don't know that the referee's going to change his mind. He's made his decision.
Stay there.
Tony Archer was convinced that it was taken out unfairly. And the Bulldogs get an opportunity here to go further ahead.
Hall took the first charge. Brideson in a dummy half, only a metre away from the line. Dishes that pass up for Oliver. Turns it inside for Sologinkin. Sologinkin's pass looked forward. Play on the call now for Emelio. And Emelio keeps it alive. This is Harvey now. He's 11 metres away from the line. He's lost it. And this time they've got a knock on. And now Emelio gets up a little upset with Nathan Tutt.
Hey, listen.
We've gone to the edge so many times with these altercations. I'm still yet to see a punch.
Calm down.
Yeah, there's plenty of passion out here. I mean, people sitting at home and waiting for the big game tonight between the Warriors and the Roosters. But let me tell you, grand final day for these two teams, these fellas that have trained all year, is all about their game. They don't care, and there's plenty on the line. Every time there's a bit of a thump and a bump, they're all prepared to get in there and protect their teammates.
Get in.
They don't care about the Roosters and the Warriors. Grand final day is about the Bulldogs and the Dragons at the moment.
And at the moment, it is 18-12 to the Bulldogs. As Tutt tops the treatment in that tackle. 4 Canterbury bodies get up.
Coming 12.
And the Dragons with Stapleton. Front on, he was knocked back and then kept going forward after Sologinkin started to fall off in the tackle. But the first impact was big. This time it is Ross on the charge. And the Dragons are stung into action now. This time they get a penalty. The pendulum swings and it will be the Dragons to go on the attack inside the Bulldogs half. But they do need to come up with the next points. Stapleton has another run. That time running headlong into Morrin. 5 metres inside Bulldogs territory. They will attack that short side. Nero had to step his own man, McBride there. Bauer 32 away with Kerr. On for Ross. He's a good player. Penrith will be expecting him to play first grade next year.
Hold on to it. Lead him, that's true. Two coming, number 3.
25 metres from the line and looking good in this set. Short pass that time. Had Hill on the charge. They're only 10 away. Bauer, good ball away. And the Bulldogs defence on the goal line. A real call to arms now. Quick pass out of dummy half. It was put down by Howland. It'll be play on for the Dragons. And Kativerata has helped himself to a try. We'll have a conversion attempt from wide out to level up yet again. It is 18-16.
Try score number 4 for St George Illawarra Dragons. Wise Kativerata.
Yeah, good work here by the Dragons. Quick play the balls. That had the defence in trouble. They pulled them down quite close to the line. Now a short pass out of dummy half, looking for the winger on the outside. Howland will knock the ball down. It beats everybody. Nero drops it behind him. The defence just waits for a moment. Kativerata picks it up. Too big, too strong. Forces his way into the in goal.
It was the quick play of the balls, but also the work from Damien Bauer. 3 plays in a row out of dummy half. He kept coming down this left side for the Dragons, and eventually they cracked. And he slammed the ball down. They're right back in this.
It was good work. We talked about it earlier in the game. The way to beat this up and in defence is if you can get back-to-back fast play the balls. The Dragons were able to do that. It could have been a try to the Bulldogs. Had Howland got a better grab on that ball, he read the play correctly. They came down the short side on tackle 5. They didn't kick. Howland was outnumbered. If the ball beat his outstretched hand, Kativerata would have scored straight away. Had he taken it, I doubt that anyone would have been able to turn and chase him. Would have been a 100-metre try to the other end of the field.
Be deceived by that season tally for Mark Christensen. He's actually the leading point scorer in Jersey Flegg. He's only got 38 in this grade. And what a big kick this is for a young bloke. 20 years of age. Grand final day in front of close to 50,000. Christensen's kick has got the hook on it. Unsuccessful. Dogs are in front by 2. Mark Coyne's sideline.
Yeah, there's no doubt the way to beat the Bulldogs up in defence is a really quick play the balls in the short runners. They did that beautifully then, the Dragons, and found a bit of space out wide.
He may get another kick at some stage that will count for plenty. No doubt Howland was onside, the whippet. And almost a knock-on by Nero and a clean pick-up for Kativerata. Bulldogs leading 18-16, but not so long ago it was only 6-all. In fact, 22 minutes ago it was 6-all.
We hear it said so often, but it's just going to be field position. Both teams have shown in the last few minutes, or a bit longer, that they can get across the try line. Bulldogs have scored a couple of great tries. The Dragons were able to do it there. Whoever spends the most time in the opposition's half, the remaining minutes of this game, is going to go on and win it.
And the crowd is more into this game right now, as Bauer is held up 5 minutes inside their own half. Bulldogs with that advantage, and that's that possession inside their opponent's half. Well, the main advantage they have at the moment is a 2-point lead. Here's a penalty late in the count. That will hurt the Bulldogs.
Well, it hurt the Bulldogs in the first half. Some back-to-back penalties brought the Dragons down into range, and they were able to level up before the break. They conceded a penalty just before that last try was scored, and now another opportunity for back-to-back sets of 6 from the Dragons. A poor kick there from Kerr. May give you an indication of the wind here at the ground at the moment. Blowing pretty strongly behind the Bulldogs and across to that far touchline. He didn't kick for the near touchline. He went to go more with the breeze and couldn't get it going forward very much at all.
They're 30 away, the St George Illawarra Dragons. And Clint Hill is with the ball. He's a young man who will be playing with the West Tigers next year. 29 from the line, and Kerr is with it. Passes for Nero. He's able to offload, and that ball is with Simmons. He hit it at pace. He is 15 away. This is real grand final stuff now, isn't it? McBride, 5 from the line, taking on Sologinkin. Somehow got a pass away. It is with young Russell, and he has lost the ball in the tackle. It's ruled a knock on. It must have been very close.
Well, did he lose it, or did he purposely put that ball back on the ground as a speculator? He charges in. No, it came from his grasp. It hit the Bulldog player, technically a knock-on straight away. Right foot step. Yeah, it comes out, hits the Bulldog's arm, and that's what forced it to go backwards. It's a good decision there by Tony Archer, and all grand finals come down to the back end of the game. All grand finals come down to the last 15 minutes. It will in the main game tonight. It's just who handles this period best, who's prepared best for the pressure part of the game at the back end.
Just on that young bloke who did lose the ball, Lachlan Russell, as the Bulldogs will come up with an error. Dragons will come up with it. Russell may get another chance here. I asked where did he come from. They said 4 hours west of Mount Isa. I don't think there's much out there 4 hours west of Mount Isa, but there is a little town called Richmond, and that's where Lachlan Russell is from, proudly representing that town today. 9 metres away from the line. The likes of Blacklock put Tinger on the map. Russell's looking to do the same with Richmond. As Kerr passes wide for that man, and a beautiful ball for Stapleton, then away for Tutt, and they are over. And if you're watching